So guys, I made a terrible mistake, an amateur mistake, a basic beginner mistake. I let sentiment cloud my judgment, and I have paid for it terribly. Guys, I've lost thousands of dollars in money, and I will never ever make that mistake again. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Dr. Daniel over here, a retired medical doctor who is very passionate about farming, poultry farming in this case. And if this is your very first time on the channel, come on, hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell, that way you never miss out on an upload. Now guys, there are mistakes that should never ever be made if you're running a poultry farm. More so if you've spent some little time, in the business, if you've had more than one flock. There are mistakes that you should never ever make. Sometimes though, our judgment gets clouded and we make really terrible mistake. My judgment got clouded. Some of you guys remember this, my farm. Of course, recently I haven't been sharing a lot of it, and that was the beginning, that was the genesis of my problems. That was because I couldn't be around, guys. I spent a lot of time on the other farm, and it was probably detrimental to me. It's a cost I had to pay, or a price I had to pay, because the other farm was starting out, and then it's quite far away from this other farm, probably around 400 kilometers, 300 something kilometers away. So it's a really, really long distance. So I couldn't make lots of movement in between. So I thought, grandma is around, she can help me handle the financial aspect of the farm. And then my dad had actually just retired, and so he was going to spend a lot of time around. He also started a poultry project, and so I was thinking, well, he can help me supervise my farm. And then I had people around who had been present when I'm managing previous projects. So in my head and in my heart, there was experience around. So yeah, I left the farm, went away, was busy, trying to grow the bigger farm, and then ta-da! Mistakes happened. This is what happened, guys. My dad also decided to start a poultry farm. You guys do remember the broiler chickens that I've shared on this channel before. And then he was constructing his chicken house somewhere, but then it wasn't ready. He was supposed to transfer his birds. So I accept him to use the lower section of this, my chicken house. We agreed that he would use it for maximum 1 month, and then when his chicken structure is ready, he can move the birds out. And then when the time reached for him to move the birds, he asked me, "Hey doctor, when are you bringing in your second lot of birds? Because it has reached time for me to move the birds out. If you're bringing in your birds very soon, it's okay, I'll vacate. But if you're not, maybe I could stay until I sell my birds, because I still have just 1 month before the birds get sold." And therein was my mistake. I thought, it's just a month left, he's going to move the birds. So there's nothing wrong, there's no problem. Keep them in, just keep them in after the month. After you've sold all of them, I can clean it up and then prepare for my next lot of birds. Now you guys need to know that actually there are two different managements for the 2 lots of birds. My birds, which were on the upper floor, and his birds, which were on the lower floor, were being managed differently. The feeds are different. He's responsible for his feed, I'm responsible for my feed. He's responsible for the worker who works in his chicken, I'm responsible for the worker who works in my chicken. But then because of unforeseen circumstances, the worker who was working for Dad's unit left. And that means that the person who was working in my chickens was asked to work in Dad's chickens. And guys, I didn't know. So she started working in there, and unfortunately, for reasons I can't tell, his birds got sick. It was during that time that they decided to get sick. So they start coughing, and then they start being treated, they are coughing. And then, remember, this is the same person working in both flocks of chicken, up and down. And so inevitably, guys, this is inevitable, my birds got sick. They did get sick. It doesn't matter how much preventative measures you try to take when the birds are just that close to each other. Remember, this is a respiratory illness. It's going to be transferred through the air, and if the birds are that close to each other, it doesn't need any physical contact for the birds to get sick. So they got sick. We decided to start treating them, treated them. Guys, I've given them like thousands of medications and nothing. The birds are still dying. I lose about 1 or 2 a day. And the terrible thing is that the production has really fallen. Now, my production had really risen to around 88%. It was still rising. I expected it to reach around 94%. But then it just reached a certain point and it wasn't rising anymore, and then they just start falling ill and everything just falls down. So currently it's actually less than less than 40%. So let's go inside the chicken house, guys, and see what's happening over there. It's really, really terrible. Alright guys, so here we are inside the chicken house, and guys, this is the point when I'm supposed to be getting like my maximum production. At this time, I'm supposed to be gathering money, you know, just putting it into my pockets. I'm supposed to be getting rich. And at this point, guys, I'm going to be selling the birds. Take a look at this bird, you know, it has its feathers really, really nicely. It has good weight. Unfortunately, it just can't lay well enough because it has a respiratory illness. So I'm seated right here. I know you guys will not be able to tell, but I can hear the birds, you know, coughing. They have this respiratory distress that's just making them to cough uncontrollably. When I look around, some of the birds are just laying down. They seem like they are dozing. They're generally unhappy. Ideally, in the past, when I would get inside the chicken house, the birds would all just run all around me. They're making lots of noise. They're just jumping, you know, flying around. Guys, just take a look around. The birds seem very, very relaxed, very uninterested in life. They're not jumping, they're not happy, and that's a really, really bad sign. You know, they have had this chronic illness, they have started to die, and I'm just not ready to keep, you know, losing them. The feed consumption has greatly reduced, the water intake has greatly reduced. Ideally, everything is just terrible. Everything is terrible. And I've tried to seek counsel from everyone that I can. I've got vet and poultry experts come onto the farm. We've done everything that we can. If you guys can take a look, the wood shelvings inside the house are actually very, very new. Like, they are new wood shelvings. It's simply because they were replaced last week. And that's because one of the most recent vets who came around said that, you know, just remove all the wood shelvings, because it's the second time that we are removing them in their short life span. So we removed all the wood shelvings, put new wood shelvings, sprayed the place, disinfected them, gave them treatment. Come on, what didn't I do? But the birds are just, you know, we gave them IM treatment, we gave them, you know, everything that we could. Unfortunately, we really couldn't do IV. We did intramuscular treatment, you know, injected each of the birds one by one, gave them multivitamins, gave them antibiotics, just gave them everything that we thought we needed to. But none of them seem to be working. So guys, I've now taken the radical decision, the very, very radical decision to cull the birds. I'm going to cull them, I'm going to get rid of them, you know. I haven't gotten back my money, I've actually lost a lot of money. But what do? It just doesn't make sense. I can't keep the birds because it doesn't matter how much I treat them. Even if they get back to good production, it will just not be good enough. They won't reach 90% production. Probably the highest they reach will be 70%. And honestly, even if it's profitable, it's not worth the time and effort. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, especially considering the time that it takes to keep them. It just doesn't make sense to make small monies over a period of, you know, 1.5 years. It just doesn't make sense for me. I can't keep this flock for 1.5 years. I'll be losing money, yet I could use the space to make more money. So guys, this is the lower floor of my chicken house. This is where dad's birds were. Most of the birds are out, just a few, you know, of the little birds are left, probably around 4 or 5. So now I've made the critical decision. I've decided to cull all the birds. I'm going to get rid of all the birds. And guys, this is it. No other form of poultry is going to be present on this farm, because since I'm going to be absent, I'm not going to be around for a lot of the time to control the movements. I really can't be sure about what's happening. So all my chickens are going away. These few of dad's chickens that are left here are going away. All the local chickens that are present on the farm are going away, and all the turkeys are going away. No other form of fowl is going to stay over here. So I've already talked to someone. They're coming to take the birds tonight, and then after that, you guys can see these wood shelvings in here. We're going to get them out. We're going to get all these wood shelvings in. This is really, really good manure. So I'm going to take it to a banana plantation that I'm starting to set up somewhere. It's going to be acting as very, very good fertilizer for the plantation. So even the wood shelvings that are up are going to be removed, taken to the garden. And then over the next 2 months, it's going to be a disinfection. I don't know what to call it. We're going to go crazy about disinfection. So we're going to clean the entire chicken house. You guys see this? These poles, you're going to flush them with water. We use soap and water to clean the mesh. every part of this house is going to have to be, hit with water somewhere. We're going to remove the floor over here, repair it because it has some holes in some of the places, repair it. We're going to probably disinfect it, maybe 4 or 5 times over a period of around maybe 1 to 2 months. 1 month is the minimum that I can use to disinfect it, but I'm going to see if I can go 2 months. Yeah, disinfect the place, clean it out for 2 months, disinfect and clean the whole outside, make sure there is no fall, and then I bring in birds once again. I failed to observe the biosecurity measures over here, and I've paid greatly for it. Very, very greatly. I've lost lots of money. But you guys understand that all these are learning points for us, yeah? It's a learning point. I can never make this mistake again, If there's going to be any other form of fowl or poultry present, there needs to be very, very, very good control. For example, on my parents' stock farm, there's a bathroom, guys. I'm going to make a video about it. But there's a bathroom. Everyone has to take a bath before you go in. And the workers who go in, when they get in, they can't move out for the rest of the day. Their food is brought for them. Everything is brought for them. And if they need to move out for any reason, if they are to come back inside the house, they need to take a bath. So if you move out 5 times, that's 5 baths for you. Not a problem, right? And then the different flocks of the birds are in really, really controlled environments. They can't cross over. The people who work the other side cannot cross over to this side. The people who work this side cannot cross over to the other side. We set up cameras to do some monitoring to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. But over here, that was quite difficult because it's more of a typical homestead setting. Everyone is moving around, it's home, so it was really, really complicated. And then, guys, it was my dad. I felt like I owed him, for letting me use his property. This is his land. I put the structure up, but it's his land. I was thinking, how do I let him, how do I refuse? How do I refuse? It would have been mean of me, but then it has turned out to cost me a lot, so I won't make that mistake too. Next time I'll be a bit more selfish. Otherwise, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. These things happen, but for us, when we fall down, we get up and go again. Fall down, get up and go again. So I'm believing for the best for the very next lot. Don't stop trying, just don't. Recently I was reading one of the comments on one of my videos, and a lady, I believe, had posted and she said she had done 3 flocks of layers and they would all die from disease, and that was really, really terrible. It's easy for you to give up, but hey, don't give up. It's about learning from all the experiences that you have each and every day. You learn, make adjustments, and then you never know what could happen in the future. Believe for the best and do your very, very best. Thanks guys for watching. Lots of love. Bye bye.